I actually heard that your one of first phrase was, I was afraid of color at the beginning. So my first question is why you were afraid of colors at the beginning? And second question, now you're in your artwork, the color is the most important element for you.
Yes.
So what does the color mean for you?
So initially in school, I was afraid of color because I was afraid that I wouldn't get the harmony thing that I wanted to create. So I was like, instead of using color I didn't want to create anything ugly. So I always wanted something pretty. And I thought using wrong colors would end up make me create something not pleasing to the eyes. So I just kept away from using colors. But now that when I started to use colors, I was like, oh, this is the way. I shouldn't be afraid anymore. So I became more, I guess, brave. And then now I'm getting a lot of compliments of how I use colors. So yeah, the color gives me hope, I think. Gives me a sense of like happiness. So that's what it is for me.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I love your artwork. And what I find fascinating is that you mentioned control and perfectionism, which you achieve in the artwork, but at the same time, the elements are all different. So it's like an organized chaos,
Yes.
which is something I
Yes.
like, right? There's like the asymmetry, the different perspectives is fascinating. And my question for you is, why have you chosen to leave people or animals out of the work? Yes.
I think that's the element that I can't control, like people's emotions. So I always tend to move away from the living nature, flowers dying, no. So I always go towards the structure of like architecture, which is always stable and always there, not changing. Thank you. Thank you.
And then we go to we have a couple of questions coming from the virtual living room in Zoom. And I read them I read the question for the guy. He's asking, did you visit Legoland in Denmark? Okay, so that's the answer. Because it was like, if so, how did it feel? If not, did you think of doing it one day?
Yes, I'm planning. I wanted to go this fall actually to Denmark to visit. So I'll tell you, I'll update after I come back. It's on my bucket list.
Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you very much for the exciting presentation. I mean, I wanted to ask you some questions because here my son wants to be a painter. So first of all, when did you decide you wanted to pursue this, and why Lego exactly? Because it's a very special choice.
So I guess I always liked to paint when I was younger too, but then I tried on different majors. Like I started art history, I started curating, I started fashion design, and then I just realized, oh, actually painting is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I guess I realized that pretty late after studying all different things I wanted to study first before deciding. And Legos, I collected Legos when I was young. Then I started to collect them again as an adult. And I just love the fact that if you follow the instruction manual, you get a perfect outcome. So again, my strive for perfection comes for my love of Legos.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Firstly, I really love with your with the tufting, the fact that you created such hard edges with such a soft material. I think that's a really beautiful contrast. But my question is, approximately percentage wise, how much time do you spend in the sketching, drawing, software process compared to the actual execution of the painting?
I want to say 80%. 80%. So people only see the result, like the painting. So they're like, oh, it must have taken you like few weeks. And I'm like, actually, the process of the process is like a month of work.
So I have just one more question. Sorry. And being able to choose harmonious colors is very difficult.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, do you spend a lot of time researching colors, or is it just instinctive what you feel
It's
you
both.
want to do?
So it's instinctive initially. Then if I keep looking at it and it's like, oh, if it doesn't work, I keep changing. So it's like half and half.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think I will read the. Thank you. Regarding also this, again, I have to read it on behalf of the one who wrote it, because he said he can't speak, so I have to ask for him or her. Since you are seeking for perfection, and it goes a bit with how long it takes you to end the work, and how and when do you realize your work is finished and ready to be exposed to public?
That's why I hang my work after I finish painting and I live with it for weeks. So that's why I try to finish all my work at least a month before my exhibition. So if I still don't like it after weeks of looking at it, then I have time to change it until I like it. So I have to do everything really beforehand and just look at it.
Thank you. Magali, please unmute yourself. Hi.
Hi, thank you for your wonderful presentation. I am enamored by your use of colors. My question is similar to the last person. For someone who wants control and order so much, do you ever have the experience of a piece speaking to you saying, let me be, let me go, I'm good now? And what would you do if that would happen?
If that happens, I sign it, I wrap it, and I put it away.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Raffaella, you're back. Unmute yourself, please.
Let's see if this time you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Loud and clear.
Very good. I like in particular the influence of meditation in your work. I liked very much the one which is called reflection with this big void. Because I think this contrast between looking for perfection and order and meditation, which teaches us to let it go, to be more flexible, is very interesting for me. And can you say something more about it? How the meditation does help your work?
Because I was becoming way too obsessive and pursuing perfection, and I was just really stressing myself. So my Pilates instructor was like, you should really try meditation and just like let go. And I just lay down, just think about nothing. So I actually like really go into the void. So that put me some distance and really helped me to develop more, like a simplified one.
Thank you. And back to Alex Bank. That wasn't supposed to. It is often said, and it comes again with the control. It is often said that creating process starts when you leave your comfort zone.
Oh,
have you ever tried to abandon this idea of uninterrupted structure and let your inner fears show up in your artwork?
I tried once when I did summer school in London in 2018, and that was for 3 weeks, and I was just it just stressed me out so much that I never went back to that style after the summer school. But I guess later I can share those works with you, actually. Those I also never shared with anyone.
So you keep them in your studio?
They're somewhere. Hidden. So there was like organic, just it was a mess. Like yeah.
In which way? Sorry for keeping on asking. In which way they were a mess to you? So you
didn't touch anything. I just went straight to the canvas, just organic shapes with just colors, and even the
And what were your feelings?
I was like, oh, I'm not in.
Because when we met, you said that that's your way. Of course, I did love this kind of conversation because I really much relate to it. And I think many of us perhaps relate to this. The fact that sometimes we want to control things, we cannot control things. So you mentioned with me that
this is the way my output of controlling, because I'm not going to control my lifestyle. It's just healthy. So this is an output, healthy output.
Please, Susan.
So thank you very much from my side. So we were talking a lot about control, and I was just wondering, you as an artist, it's about you, but we are your audience, and you cannot control the audience. What are your feelings or thoughts? Because I remember you mentioned, oh, that's what I'm famous for. So my question is, what's your relationship to the audience? What's important, or what's your thoughts about that?
I think because I always wanted to convey like happy feelings, and that's why I try to use bright colors. And I love when the audience said, "Oh, it makes me warm," or like feeling of when I see your painting in my house, like I become really calm and happy. So I'm happy that I can create works that convey those feelings. But I also know not everyone's gonna like my work, and that's the part of letting go and just try not to care as much as I want to. Thank you. Yeah.
For your artworks, you change the dimension and you change the material, and there is several changes in your work in general. So I want to know whether there is something that you don't want to change, never ever, in your work.
I guess I always want to use happy colors. I don't think I'll go back to using black and white or like grayscale in my work. So that's probably one constant. Yeah, that won't change.
And before you also said that for a brief period of time, you were using
rose, the pink shades.
Yeah,
but not black and white, not grays.
And also you changed the media because you had oil.
Yes, briefly,
and then you switched to acrylic. So what you are seeing here is an acrylic on canvas. Why did you change? How did it happen? Were you just like, okay, let's try with acrylic, or you were not satisfied with the oil on the first place and then you tried something else?
I always worked with acrylic before, and like in school I was more comfortable with acrylic. And then oil was just taking too long to dry, and I was being impatient. So I moved on to acrylic, which I had more control over. Again, control. Sorry to use that word like so many times.
I will stop counting. I said.
Like I think I'm on like 121 or something.
And was it also because with acrylic sometimes they are more vibrant?
They're vibrant, yeah. The colors are easier to create, I think.
By the way, can you share with us the system that you have regarding the colors, the fact that you named them?
Everything. So, and I have a sheet of paper with all the names, the colors. So each has different names. So if I have to go back to fix, it'll be easier for me. Go back. And I ran out of names because I just used like so many. And currently I'm on designer names because Korea's actually #1 consumer of designer goods, I read. So now all my colors are like Prada, like Gucci, and like Hermes. So that's happening right now in my studio.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much from my side. Well, it was very interesting, especially to explore. Like you were very honest saying that this way of working actually helped you to, overcome something that for many people might be really, how to say, obstacle to approach life, because if you always strive for perfection, then it can be something very stiff for your like daily life. So my question is more about how do you feel now that you find this way of healing yourself? Do you think that your life is actually improved?
It is. And it is. And for me, painting is a way of like therapy. So it's like free therapy session for me whenever I paint. So that's, yeah.
Okay. And do you ever consider to pass this tool to your public? Of course, not like teaching them how to paint, which is not what I mean, but like somehow, how to say, soak your paintings in a way that can actually transmit a healing force.
I think that's what I want to do when I have more free time. And when I'm older, I guess I get retired maybe. I want to help people. Yeah. That's definitely something I would want to work on in the future.
One of the artists who was a former guest speaker said that you never retire.
Oh, I know.
Never. He said you die on stage.
Die when the paint first.
Thank you, dear. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned in your next exhibition, you're going to be presenting wood, right? So can you tell us a bit more about it?
It's kind of on the low key because I wanted to surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You should come. It's on August 31st.
And my other question is there any other material that you're planning maybe to use in the future? Any plans to go in the direction?
Maybe metal other than aluminum, maybe steel or like leather. Something I'm thinking about. We'll see. Oh,
She's the
director.
The gallery?
Yeah.
Sorry, because I'm interested on understanding how did you find her and like why you choose her? What was that really actually catch your sight and say, oh, she's the one? Like,
I have to ask you. Yes, you need the mic around the location where you can see the corner.
Well, actually, when I first saw her works, she was a student in Hongik University. She did her master degree at the time. So there was a students exhibition in that university. So I asked to my curator to get some flyer and catalog of that exhibition. So when I saw her one painting in that catalog, she was very special and unique. So I asked her to come to my gallery, and at that time she brought some portfolio, but it was not perfect at the time because she was a student. So I was waiting, and then I was waiting like 3 years, something like that, and then I found her work in Daegu, 청년. It was young artist exhibition at the time. She was selected one of young artists. So we just met each other in Daegu, not in Seoul. So when I saw her work at the time, okay, this is the time. So I asked her, let's work together. So this is what I found her.
Thank you. Good job.
She always says she has a really good eye for like picking out artists. So I'm chosen.
Thank you. Yes, I go back to the usual video. Elsa? Elsa, can you unmute yourself, please, so we can hear you? Elsa, otherwise I read your
Yeah,
Yes.
if you read my what I wrote in the chat, because I live in Singapore and around me there are many
I
construction
can do
works
it.
going
Oh,
on.
of course.
So just read it, it's fine.
Okay, so she's asking where will we find your works and which galleries and how do you find the gallery owners? Okay, these are also information that I will share later on.
So my first line. So my Instagram is Legoscape. So please follow. And my website's jenpakstudio.com. And my gallery is Cone Gallery.
I
Copenhagen
take
Gallery.
I take the chance. This is something that I usually say at the end, but and I will repeat it at the end. But you will, those who are now in the living room with us and also in the virtual one, I send an email that I call the day after, where we summarize what happened today and all the information. So in case you are not in the mailing list, just reach out. For you, Elsa, please write your email address and I will add you in. Anyway, you will find all the information about the artist and also the recordings of this event in case you want to take a second look or you want to share with friends, and you're very welcome to do that. Please.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I love your work.
Okay.
And it indeed makes me feel calm and happy.
Yes.
And I'm a much more chaotic person. This is so lovely. My question is a bit of a different, going off on a tangent, but I'm curious, when you were starting off as an artist here, what's the support like in terms of, this is completely sidetracked, but in terms of how did you live off government grants? Like, how does it work here? Because I know that Korea invests a lot in its arts in terms of, but
I was born in the States. I couldn't get the
okay.
Yeah, so
Okay. So then I know. So I'm from Canada, so that's why the States is, I know their system more.
But I know Korean artists get a lot of financial support from the government.
Okay.
So
so when did you move back?
in 2016.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry if I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, the question from here. Yes. Okay, come. You can sit here. I think we can next time we can use the couch as a place where to.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and I was quite inspired by your color selection, and also that it's quite curious that you keep on mentioning, emphasizing about your about being able to control, and that's representing your themes and your status of your artistic philosophy as well. But my idea is that when was the moment, clear moments that you actually changed, you are confronted your own fear from black and white to the color, and was that related to your environmental setting?
Yes.
And you being able to take the one step ahead to the new adventures. So does that mean that when you used to focusing on black and white color, was it really related to your upbringing or the academic or school environments? Is that making you feel like you're not supposed to make a mistake?
Yeah, I think so, because Cornell is in Ithaca, where the winter is really long. It's like snows until May. So I guess the environment was kind of depressing and the lack of color. Everything is covered in snow. So I think that really affected me.
But then, okay, you went to the Cornell, but
Yeah,
before that it was a Korean school?
No, Cornell was my
Cornell.
yeah,
Okay, so Cornell
my
was the first.
college.
It's very interesting.
Then I went to Parsons
Okay.
after in the
So
city.
you're being able to express yourself spontaneously.
Yeah.
This is not something oppressing at the very beginning. Is that
No,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I understand. It's very interesting because for me, in this picture, the painting, there's an irregularity in terms of the shapes and color, but you are trying to control everything because you just represent that your mindset that you want to control the life within this irregular environment. So do you also find that when you change it to New Zealand, from that setting in US to New Zealand, where you are right now, you didn't say New Zealand or New Jersey?
New Jersey.
Oh, okay, sorry. So every time you change your environment, do you find the new inspiration?
I think so, because my color it's just
that
a little
representing your adventure.
Okay,
I understand.
and it's seasonal too. I think during winter I use more toned down pastel tones, and summer it's more vibrant.
Very peaceful to see your work, because I understand that life is people always believe that spontaneous happiness and this is our pursuit, but at the same time we found the regularity making us to feel a bit more peaceful. That's how I feel when we get slightly more mature. So it's quite inspirational painting. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks. There is also another comment from the Zoom. I like this question. It goes back to before. People often forget artists have to eat. Did you no? And this is a big. Of course, it's a big theme because sometimes artists have to do also something else, something on the side. Could be teaching, could be different jobs. The same artist who told me that you cannot retire and you die on stage. He also truly believes that you have to devote yourself to art in order to, to really fully develop your own practice. Do you think the same?
I do. I'm a full-time artist. I only paint and eat. But supported by my parents, thankfully.
Yeah, no, because probably that's the thing. You have to be, your life kind of in the end matches what your art practice.
Yes. And I'm happy with my choice, so.
Okay. Any other question for me? Otherwise, 3, 2, 1. Otherwise, I say, that is missed.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.